actually officially put in term limits. It was only suggested by George Washington, like, the founder of our country, and like he fought in the war, whatever. So the first president. So George Washington, said that he didn't think that people should even do. I think he was even hesitant to do a second term, and he had to it was a new country, and this revolution. It was they didn't want a political vacuum, so he needed another term to get stuff done, and he was pressured into it. But he said you should definitely not have more than 1 to 2 terms. He railed against partisanship and all this other kind of stuff. All right, so he was like a slave owner, and that's I'm not, so just so everybody's aware. But anyway, and he was an elitist. He was an English elitist. So they set this government up to they said all the lofty things, but truthfully they set it up for the top 10% to stay in power and control everything, and benefit by far the most of all the people suffer and kill themselves working and literally die or kill themselves or have get addiction problems or whatever, get health problems. Don't have health care. It's an absurd, unethical thing. And I love, this speech was so fucking presidential. Come on. I don't even care if you don't, first of all, they say like 75% of the country, like he's the best, most popular senator. So I would say, Bernie Sanders is pretty popular. But even if you're like, I couldn't elect him or socialism, don't listen to the Red Scare shit, man. He's talking about literally democracy, not socialism. Straight socialism in the old sense used to mean that the government would take over everything as this revolution happened immediately. We're not trying to do that. We want democracy in the workplace. What's wrong with that? See, the problem is you have to understand is you can't have a capitalist system, which is literally the definition by anybody's standard, unless they're lying right to your face, it's the exploitation of labor. That's how these people make money. They exploit your labor. They get more, like they take all the hard work you do and commodify it, and you get like, in some cases, you're lucky if you get 1/2000th of what they make, or one even worse than that. But maybe even if you get 1/10 of it, the point is you're being exploited. You're putting out something that makes them, let's say, $1 billion. That's a high number. Let's say $1 million. Your work in a year gives them $1 million or $2 million in profit, and you get like $24,000 a year, no benefits, or like $10 an hour, $12 an hour, $15 an hour isn't even enough. We need higher than $15 an hour minimum wage. But Bernie Sanders does hit a lot of points. He starts with a sombering tone, and he's been working on that. He made sure the background was very presidential. He has his website up there. Listen, Sanders is putting out shit, and he's the only one with the serious policies, and he will fight for them, and he's not just saying he's going to solve all your problems. That's what all Joe Biden's telling you that. Donald Trump's telling you that. A lot of people are telling you that. No, he's saying we need a political revolution, meaning people stand up and demand justice from their government. Doesn't matter if you're a Republican, an independent, a Democrat, a communist, a socialist, a blah, blah, blah. We're human beings, and we all need these services to secure our society so we can produce much more that's better for everybody. More music, the arts, painters. We need to fund artists that want to produce something good for society. That has playwrights, actors. And then there's people that love working at restaurants. I've worked at restaurants a long time. Like, I didn't love it, but it's not the worst thing. There's a lot worse jobs, like landscaping and other shit that I'm going to be doing soon. But listen, in all seriousness, this is like, we need to listen to Bernie Sanders about the coronavirus. He's telling you, he's basing his stuff on scientists and what the rest of the world does that has a better system than us, that is getting less sick and it's costing them less money. Our economy is crashing massively, and our economy affects the world's economy. So this is serious. We were right the whole time. Ding, ding, ding. Pat on the back. Progressives are right, based on science, fact, comparative politics, comparing other nations' systems, and like for years and years and years of history and what works. For every reason, they're humane. They build the economy the most. There's just we need progressive policy. We need Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is actually a moderate. He's considered a moderate in the rest of the world, almost. All of the democratic countries, Bernie Sanders would be a moderate. He could be in either party. And back in the day, before the Red Scare of the 1950s, where we stopped talking about socialism, communism, anarchism, people don't know what these things are. Anarchy, or anarchism, actually, one of the main proponents who really blew up the concept, it made people talk about anarchy and believe in it. I believe his name was Perdue or something like that. He was talking about nonviolent protest, and more representation, like the people in each town or precinct voting for what the town does, local control, what Republicans claim they want. People are very uneducated, and the media does them a disservice, whether it's Fox, CNN, MSNBC, CBS, ABC, Disney, Bloomberg. I mean, all these corporations, and like most of these companies, they're literally almost all of our channels are owned by 5 corporations. Do you think you're getting the content you deserve? Do you think they're working hard for you? Go see how much those CEOs of Comcast or Verizon, go see what these people make. And realize HBO, Showtime, The Daily Show, Viacom, they're owned by Viacom. Go look up how much their CEOs make. Look how much most of their workers make too, for all these companies. I mean, it's disturbing. And we have a public health crisis, and Bernie Sanders is putting our health above even the election. He's not screaming, it's foul, and he probably should, because we're going to get into that in some videos either later tonight and tomorrow. About Bernie Sanders saying like, hey, you shouldn't go out and vote if just because like you're not supposed to be around anybody, we're not supposed to be in large groups, you're not supposed to be within 6 feet of people, this is impossible in a polling site, it makes the lines way longer, this is happening all over. We have a serious, there's a legitimacy question of the votes that just took place. First of all, there's a legitimacy question for all of the votes that took place. And please look back at my older videos and you'll see the thing about gray zone and code pink. You'll see the thing from, I have to expand upon the gray zone and code pink story and explain the rest of that and what fully transpired. I have to get into that more. But also Lee Camp of Redacted Tonight. Lee Camp, he's great. Does stand-up, he writes, he does podcasts. He's great. He has all kinds of stuff. He's really building his brand, but he really is giving us much needed information. And he's great. But I show his video in my video, get some commentary on it. I also read something about how Homeland Security was being told for like a couple of years now, 2 or 3 years to be exact, that they needed to put in place systems in our election systems to make them safe from supposed Russian interference, when the real interference is coming from both parties. And they steal elections all the time. Don't look if you're young or you don't know about politics. In 2000, George Bush stole the election. In 2004, George Bush stole the election with manipulation in digital voting machines, which the Republican Party heavily contributed to. And they switched votes all over the country. It's proven. They have they have actual evidence. It's irrefutable in both elections. And George Bush's brother was the governor of Florida. There's all kinds of dirty shit going on, and the Supreme Court actually ruled to stop a recount where Al Gore would have won, and he'd be our president, who at least he was addressing climate change all the way back in 2000. In 2001, we would have walked in with Al Gore. And we may have had some skirmishes and wars that were still unjust, but do you think we would have had an Iraq war with Al Gore as president? I highly doubt it. Imagine the money and lives and suffering that would have been saved on both sides, especially on their side. We just wrecked everything and put in a bunch of KFCs and all junk food nobody should even be allowed to eat or should even sell. It's useless. Anyway, it's horrible for your health. Look, this is the time to get serious about politics. So do me a favor, go to patreon.com/punkrockpolitics. Contribute to the channel. I really, 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 really need some patrons, all right? So patreon.com/punkrockpolitics. I need to, all these services to live stream and give you guys a whole bunch more. I could do, as many as 6 to 10 videos in a day and a live stream if I get some members to get, to give some money. The first tier is only $1. So you can be like a member for $1. I forget what it's called. And then it's like a burner is like $2.70, just $2.70. Because he asked for that, or he asked for the $27, which in 2016 was the average donation from working people, So then my next is I forget and whatever. It goes up to there's 5 tiers or 6 tiers, and it goes up to Revolutionary, and I offer more perks than anybody. So the top tier of Revolutionary is $27. Look, and then they're still way cheaper with more access. I'm offering please compare me to other similar sites and other people that have way more likes and subscribers. So please go to my YouTube channel, subscribe. Make sure you click all, because if you don't hit all, sometimes you won't get any alerts whatsoever about any of the content I put out. So click all or double click it if you're on like a certain device, and you'll get those little parenthesis things like my hands are doing around it, and that means you'll get the alerts. So yeah, I mean, please do that. Like and share these videos. Talk about it with your family. Share this stuff, all this information all over social media. We have a serious reflection to make in this country. We need to get back to the New Deal principles that built the biggest middle class, ever to exist by any metric. And that's what I was talking about way earlier. I never talked about that. Finish that thought. So, and then Eisenhower charged in when Eisenhower was president, who was a Republican, and was elected in, I think it was 1950, and then again in 54, so he was president until 58. He's the one who warned us about the industrial complex, but he also built it. They don't really add that little part of history in there. It happened under his watch, at least. But yeah, Eisenhower had a 91% tax rate, and they used all that crap, we're going to leave the country and stuff. We still created the Rockefellers, who have way too much money, power, and are evil. We still created the Carnegies and all these other way too wealthy, powerful, scumbag assholes, like, for the most part. So it's ridiculous, and we need healthcare. We need Medicare for all now, right this minute. Like ASAP, we need to organize this. We need to get this out there and start figuring this out. We need more doctors. We need more nurses. Everybody needs money. Everybody needs money. Everybody needs to not be forced to go to work if they're afraid of contracting or vulnerable, or if there's too many people in a small area. I mean, the government's telling us to stay inside, and believe it or not, even under Trump, I'm not scared. Like, everybody's fucking freaking out because this affects us all. So let's get Medicare for all, and then once you see how good it is, you're going to all want it. And if not, we'll get rid of Medicare for all. As soon as the crisis is over, Trump is the president, that'll happen. All right, but the demand's going to be overwhelming. As Bernie Sanders said, more people the majority of Americans already want it and have wanted it for like years and years since Bernie got on the national stage back in 2014. We want Medicare for all more and more. It's been done in a million other countries. We spend 10 times more than Canada and even more money than other nations. This isn't even the most left policy. There's an NIS or something like that, National Insurance System, or whatever it is, in England, and we should actually, that's the most left position, but we should do that because they have an even better healthcare system than many others. It's by far better than ours. So we got people dying and sick, underinsured, people that can't afford co-pays, people that even have insurance from work. They don't get to pick their insurance or what's covered by it. They just have, here's the one or two insurance company we use, pick a plan. It's more efficient, it's humane, it would boost the economy. People would not have to provide healthcare anymore. No companies. Think about all corporations, all businesses not having to provide anybody any fucking healthcare at all. The savings cost means that we could all make more money and have a better economy. It's not rocket science, people, but we have to do it for our safety now. There is no debate. You otherwise are putting everybody at risk. We need paid family sick leave now. Now! If somebody is afraid, and what are we going to do? So they're closing daycares and schools where who the hell is supposed to work? They have to take care of their kids. They can't go to work. Every American citizen needs money now. I would make an argument that everybody in America, regardless of citizenship, needs money now. Nobody should be put at risk. They need health care too. I don't care if they're undocumented immigrants or illegal aliens or whatever you people want to say. These are human beings, number one. Number two, our policies push them here, so don't act like it had nothing to do with America and our history. That means you don't know history. The things we've done to Latin America are just abominable. We have overthrown so many moderate or slightly left or even very left, very popular democratically elected people in all over the world, and we heavily did it at south of our border. We messed with Mexico, we messed with everybody. We had dictators installed because they gave us better prices on goods or bananas or oil, let us keep their land that they tried to nationalize and give to the poor. The U.S. needs to nationalize its fossil fuel industry. At least start with its oil industry. Look into it. It's a real thing. It's drastic. Climate change is insane, and we need a Green New Deal. We need to mobilize like World War II. We need to bring back industry to the United fucking States like Donald Trump claims he wants. Listen to Bernie Sanders. He has a record of telling the truth, calling for the same things, pushing and fighting for them. He got, under Donald Trump, it was his idea, a bill to stop Donald Trump from being able to use unilateral powers to go to war with Iraq, because that's supposed to be a congressional authority. We need to take congressional authority back, and this is Obama's fault as much as it is Clinton's fault, as much as it is Bush's fault. This is a whole system. Our system is rigged. It's fucked, and the vast majority of us are getting screwed. At least the bottom 90%, and 80%. The bottom 80% of this country has no impact on our policy. If we did, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. This is not a democracy, and Bernie Sanders is fighting for a democracy. Do you want a democracy, or do you want a bunch of egomaniacal, brain-dead, lying pieces of shit like Donald Trump and Joe Biden? You better really think about this, whoever you are, because we are talking about the survival of this planet. As coronavirus and all these new viruses, like as climate change increases, more permafrost melts, that's frozen like ice or over the ground, and then more diseases and gases come out of the earth as it gets hotter. Also, there's more mosquitoes which carry disease, there's more poison ivy, poison sumac, just all things that are miserable. All right, so all the good things die, and all the bad things come in, and they blossom, and it puts us at more vulnerability for disease. Bernie Sanders is the only one with a serious Green New Deal that is based on science about retrofitting, giving public housing, putting like as many as 20 million, I would argue even 40 million Americans to work with good paying jobs, where they're going to go back and contribute to the economy, and we can all open small businesses and make money on videos and have a better society. We don't, or it's scorched earth and we're all dead. That's not me being hyperbolic or insane. I've done multiple environmental internships. I've done serious research on my own time for years into this topic. And 2 degrees was always too high. It's 1.5 degrees Celsius, and we're already at that level. We've passed that temperature in 2016. All right, I was protesting at the UN, and so was Bernie Sanders saying 2 degrees is too hot, based on, the leading climate scientists in the world who said that the models they were using weren't putting in factors to get the right number and accurate information. So yeah, not bullshit. We have an economic issue. Our economic system is rigged. We need a more shared economic system and way more income equality. As he was saying, all these people, it was just making me all tear up and feeling good to hear somebody sound like a real, true president that you don't have to be embarrassed of, that'll build connections around the world, but while making America stronger and making sure we produce shit here again. And help the world and stop these wars. All right. Thanks for joining Punk Rock Politics. Again, subscribe to my channel. Go to patreon.com/punkrockpolitics and become a patron. The first tier is only $1. Come on, people. Some of these free prescriptions are running out, and they want like 90, 100, 550. I might even need to spend 500. I need money for apps to give you more content, to do more live streaming. I mean, my live streams got all messed up, and that was their like free offer to try to get me to buy it and pay like $90 or $100 just for that one app. Everything's crazy, and it's very expensive, but I'm really serious about bringing you honest analysis, commentary, news, and the truth. And the mainstream media is not giving it to you. So if you want the truth, this is the revolution for the truth. This is what where I was inspired by many others. The Humanist Report, the Rational National, Jimmy Dore Show, the Michael Brooks Show a little bit. Definitely. Sometimes Majority Report with Sam Cedar. I'm forgetting somebody. I feel bad. Secular Talk with Kyle Kalinske, who helped form brand new Congress and get progressives elected. Listen, these are policies that the people want, and these are policies that this global pandemic is showing us we really need. So thanks for joining Punk Rock Politics. I'll see you guys soon. I'm going to do another video tonight, I believe. If not, I'm definitely going to do numerous videos tomorrow. So I'm a little tired. I've been at this for a while. I released a patron-only video on my patreon.com/punkrockpolitics. It'll be available to you guys in a day or two, but it's part of the perks you get for becoming a patron. So, and I give like way more than anybody else. It's not a lie. Look at it; it's insane. So you can become a revolutionary. You have a chance at an internship. I really weigh you for an internship, like legitimately. I'll look at everybody, the people that do that. I'll look at their stuff. You can come on the show. I won't 100%. I'm not going to promise that I'm going to air it, but you can come on the show And, if the show goes well, I will air it, or I'll edit some of it, or we'll redo it. But, like, if somebody comes on the show and they're angry and they're fucking with me, and, that's not gonna stand. So, but, are they saying something idiotic or racist or sexist or stupid or not backed by reality, then that person, I'm not going to air that episode. If I do, it's only because they let me respond to that awful, stupid, ignorant shit that doesn't benefit anybody. Like, the whole idea of racism is so stupid because, you're a working class guy who has nothing. Like, you need to work with the other working class people to fight all the people in power. So you blame the Jews, you blame niggers. I'm not being a jerk. That's what I'm mimicking what they would say. You blame everybody. You blame Hispanics, you blame Latinx, you blame every single, poor white people, crackhead, drugs, blah, blah, blah. Everybody's the enemy. Right? But that's not really how it works. So we're going to change that. It's a serious crisis showing you the problem with capitalism. We need a new economic system. We need a new healthcare system. We need it now to keep us all safe. Everybody's vulnerable. Anybody can give it to us. Anybody in this country, regardless of how you feel about whether they're here or not, if they should be here or not, it doesn't matter. And they contribute to our society. They can get us sick. Everybody needs healthcare. All right? If they're actual criminals, like serious criminals, not like they got caught someone to join or jaywalking or got a DWI. I mean real criminals. If they're like murderers or rapists and like they've actually been found guilty and they're like hiding in our country, yeah, we will send them to their country. That's different. But other than that, or we have to detain them and like quarantine them and keep them and not be inhumane to them because it doesn't innocent to prove guilty shit. Another government could accuse somebody of doing something because they were a journalist or they didn't like them. Or, they were going to run against them, or they were exposing some kind of corruption, so don't forget that. But anyway, again, thanks for joining. Make sure to subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Punk rock politics, man. That's help me keep it afloat. I really appreciate it. You're going to get so much out of it. I swear to God, I'm going to work my ass off for everybody. I already am. I could get so much more done if I could pay more money for better services. The ones they're offering, quite frankly, some of them are just terrible. Vimeo's been pretty good so far. I'm getting used to it, but I think they charge too much too. But we'll see. I'm doing a ton of research to figure this all out, and I'm really passionate about all this. So the only reason I didn't go on the last couple of days is because like so much is going on, and I have like vulnerable family, and my grandmother and great aunt just moved, and my parents could be more vulnerable to the attack, and I'm worried about my kid, and there's a lot going on, So I took some time to reflect and did a lot of research, and I'm going to bring you a lot about the elections and the fraud and what's going on. The voter suppression by the Democratic Party. I'm going to show you that this shit is rigged, without a doubt. There's just overwhelming evidence. There's so many people on Twitter talking about how many people they turned away from the polls. It's absurd. But thanks for joining me. There's going to be a lot more coming, folks. Either later on tonight, like 10 to 2 in the morning, or, maybe tomorrow. Definitely make sure you subscribe and tune in because I'm going to be putting out some content because there's a lot going on. And Bernie Sanders is by far the most competent leader. He's telling us to trust the scientists, not the politicians, trust the healthcare professionals, and what we need to do to stay safe. And there's no debating it. So please share this. Thanks for joining me, guys and gals and non-binary people, whatever, everybody. Thanks for joining me.